Make the point, this is a game for qualification right here. Georgec is in the driver's seat right now, but the winner of this will book their seat at the Europe Spring Championship. The loser in this case goes home, which hasn't been the case in the games that we've been watching up until this point. Most of them, the loser still gets a second chance in the lower bracket, but this is go big or go home time. You really, everything is on the line that you've worked for over the past few months here. So it's going to be that Tempo Warrior with the Leroy Jackson up against the Beast Druid here from Devou. We see Mounted Raptor in the hand, which is a beast that is sticky in the sense of having a death rattle, but still, the initial body is quite easy to deal with, only being a 3/2.
I also like this Violet Teacher here, and that's a nice addition.
Right. Violet Teacher is generally included in the deck because you're running Power of the Wild, because the Panther is a beast that you can summon out of it as a 3/2, but the Violet Teacher Power of the Wild interaction itself is pretty crazy. Because you spawn 1/1s and then immediately buff them with the effect of the card as well. Fiery War Axe looks like it can be equipped here. That will allow him to, on the following turn, deal with the Violet Teacher using Slam and the Fiery War Axe attack. So may just see that. He may just even choose to just attack this over 2 turns with the Fiery War Axe, which is a possibility as well.
Yep, that looks like what we're doing. At the cost of 6, but you do want to get the Violet Teacher off the board. It does threaten to get out of control at some point.
Right.
Is that Mountain Raptor?
There is the Mounted Raptor. He could have, done it the same way with the Slam this turn, but by attacking on the previous turn, he now gives himself the option to throw a removal spell at the other minion that your opponent is going to play this turn, in which case, in this case being the Mounted Raptor, but he's instead just going to go ahead and coin out the incredibly competitive Bloodhoof Brave. 2/6 against 3/2. Seems like a good deal.
And then, 5x against, whatever Devou might play.
Right.
Seems just fine.
Yeah, so from Devou's side here, Savage Combatant is picked up, which, again, is a pretty competitive minion against the 2/6 that comes down, but that is going to allow the 2/6 to get value first into the 3/2 Raptor, and as you said, buff it up to 5 attack, which then makes it competitive against the Savage Combatant itself.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that whole series of events goes well for Georgec, it seems like.
So how about the alternative player? What does Swipe do for him in this position?
Not much. It's still a 2-for-1.
Right. I mean, he would swipe, he would retain just a 1-drop out of his Mounted Raptor to contest the board, which isn't a great deal, but that second War Axe pickup is huge here. Slam Fiery War Axe allows him to tidy up this board so effectively. Just goes ahead and chops down the Savage Combatant. He has taken a bunch of damage here.
16, yeah.
Right.
I mean, he's not super healthy right now, but, I mean, then again, you are playing against... You're playing against Druid here, so it's possible that you don't have to worry too much, but
and this is a fairly aggressive deck. It has a lot of token summoning in it, plus Savage Roar, so
charge creatures.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
You're not out of the woods, so so to speak.
But the ability for this deck to bounce back just through the hero power, through Armor Smiths for life gain. You play a lot of taunts in the deck, Bloodhoof Braves, Fierce Monkeys, etc. So your ability to bounce back is pretty high as long as you can gain control of the board at some point. So it's not looking too terrible here.
Yeah, also Georgec has a pretty full grip. I mean, he's got 6 cards here.
No.
Yeah, 6 cards and plenty of options to cycle even. He has Slam, which draws a card, Battle Rage, which can give him even more options here, but he is really just going to be looking to just gain a grip on this board as quickly as he can, because this board starts to be compounded by things like Mark of Yasharaj, moving forward to not only increase the pressure on the board, but make sure that the Druid keeps plenty of cards in hand. Then he's going to quickly find himself in trouble.
Georgec at 12. I don't know why. This is a scary little life total there.
It really is, yeah. I mean,
this is very low, very quick.
He's kind of felt like in control of this matchup for most of it. He's just been dealing with the threats that were in front of him.
It feels like he's in control, but he's disregarding his life total to be in control, which kind of concerns me a little bit.
Right, I think it's something that you kind of have to do when you draw double weapons so early in the game.
True,
like you have to use those weapons to commit and kill your opponent's minions, but it's just a happy byproduct really for the aggressive deck that's meant that he's in a pretty nice position here in terms of being able to push through damage.
And we're going to start amassing some armor here, ideally, so that seems okay.
Hey! Shifter Xerus pops out. Unfortunately, doesn't transform into a new minion every turn when he's on the board, so he's just going to be a lowly 1/1 here for Devou. Still allows him to push 1 more damage right now and picks up the Druid of the Saber plus Mark combo, which can push a lot of damage in charge form, or he can play it right now in stealth if he would like to. He might even just be considering the potential Fandral synergies, but Druid of the Saber is not really one of the cards that benefits too greatly from Fandral Staghelm. Stealth and charge, not the greatest combination of effects in the game.
As you can imagine.
Yeah. So it looks like he's just going to use Mark of Yasharaj to push extra damage here on his 1/1 Xerus and sacrifice the card draw. Just say that he can push through enough damage with the minions he has.
Deal damage, make it 2/2, get an armor maybe?
I mean, yeah, the Blood to Ichor can get him somewhere on the board, but I think he's going to have to look for a Battle Rage here to try and pick up some taunts, pick up some Whirlwind effects to try and gain armor. It's all looking pretty messy, but there's some cards in his deck that can start to dig him out of trouble. Executes, taunt minions, etc. Does pick up a Fierce Monkey. So Fierce Monkey's played to the board. That's still the best he can do really is armor up. And that's not still looking too promising since the Fierce Monkey's immediately challenged by that Azir Drake.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this match. It seems extremely interesting.
I mean, honestly, the Beast Druid just looks pretty impressive, right? Like, it's run into what seems to be a pretty strong start from the Warrior deck, where he drew the War Axe and was able to control the board early, but...
It's like he just didn't even care.
Yeah.
He just kept going.
Yeah, but just through the use of that Innovate Violet Teacher early, dealing so much damage, essentially that Violet Teacher dealt 9 because it was attacked twice.
3/5 is just huge on turn 3.
Right, exactly. It just came down much too early, dealt a bunch of damage because he chose to attack it twice, and that's just been the platform for him to push all this extra damage through so far. Now he's kind of getting to the point where he is able to stabilize this board a little bit. He has a Blood to Ichor and Execute that can allow him to take control of this board just a little bit. As you take a look at some of the big names that Georgec's left in the graveyard on his way out here. Sho, Gara, and Powder on his way. That's a pretty impressive list of bodies that he's left in his wake.
And Loyan, we saw a matchup with Loyan earlier today.
Right. Looks like Georgec is now considering a Battle Rage option as to whether he can pick up something to get him out of this. But as I was going to say, he has Blood to Ichor and Execute to take out the Drake and the Xerus if he would like to. He is going to start with the Battle Rage. Still has the mana available to make that play if he wants to, alongside the Frothing Berserker for board presence. But this is getting really scary, Frank. He's getting low.
Yeah, this is our only option. Then you just get rid of the 3/2. Still 4/4 puts into 4 though.
And still, like, he's just having to make these miserable plays, and I believe this is just lethal now.
I think this is lethal, yeah.
Power
of the Wild.
I made fun of the charge plus stealth combination, but you do get a nice 3-attack charge out of the Fandral effect. So.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we were afraid of. Like, you took